Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another Minecraft Java video. Today we're going to be taking a look at some Minecraft Java shaders, and this shader pack is actually called RedHat shaders. This is the v27 version of the RedHat shaders, and it's a really cool shader pack. It does pack a lot of customization options. I'm going to show you guys how to download and install the RedHat shaders today, and I'm also going to show you some gameplay and some of the features that the RedHat version 27 shaders does offer in terms of colors and profiles, because it's really cool. The author of this shader pack has put a lot of effort into this shader pack, and as you guys can see, I am currently in the cinematic mode and everything just looks really nice. I am on the how to create world here, and we can see that we do have some nice lens flare coming in there. We also have some nice camera effects. You can see on the screen there I've got some reflections coming in. It's almost like I'm wearing some sort of helmet, and we can also see that the color tone is different to the normal vanilla game as well. I'm going to show you guys some of the profiles we can select in this for the RedHat v27 shaders, and I'm also going to show you some of the colors that we can choose as well. It's really cool. And as you guys can see, it has started raining and it has become a bit dark, so we do get some nice reflections there on the ground. As you guys can see, you can see the reflection of the lampposts and the lanterns glowing on the ground there, which is a really cool and nice effect. Not that many shaders do pull that off. This shader pack is actually based off the Chocapic13 shaders, which is quite an old shader pack. However, the RedHat v27 shader pack, which is based off the Chocapic13 shader pack, is actually currently in development, and we can currently download this for the latest version of Minecraft, which is Minecraft Java Edition version 1.17.1. I will show you guys some of the gameplay. I am primarily using OptiFine because it is quite easy to change the options in that. You can also use this completely fine with Iris shaders, and you can actually change the options using the starline hook. I have done a video about how to change the options in Iris shaders, and I will leave a link in the description how you guys can set that up. It is quite a long video to actually go through the whole process, so I'm not going to include that in today's video. So if you guys want to check out how to actually set the options for this shader using Iris shaders, do check out my starline video, and I will leave a link in the description. Alright, so let's go back into the options screen and then go to video settings and then shaders, and then make sure that RedHat is selected, and we can click on shader options. You will see this screen here for the shader options, and then we can actually click on settings, and after clicking on settings we can change the profile. So let's go and select the default profile to begin with. So as you guys can see, I've now selected the default profile. I'm going to set the time to day just to show you guys what the day looks like, because it's really cool. It's a nice color scheme. Let me just get rid of the weather as well, make that clear. So as you guys can see, we still have the reflection there as soon as it goes into daytime, and then eventually that will fade off, and then we'll get some nice dry weather here. You can see that we've got some nice rays coming in from the sun. We've got the lens flare coming in there. I really do like these type of clouds. I think they look really nice and realistic as well, and you can see we have some nice rays coming in through the actual trees there, similar to what we would see in something like Silders. However, Chocapic13 shaders were also quite popular and did look quite nice, and this shader pack is based off that, as I mentioned earlier, so this is quite nice looking as well. And you can see we have some nice colors here as well. It's nice and vibrant and rich in color as well. I do like this color scheme. Alright, let's go back and change the shader profile again. Let's change it to the vanilla look and see what that looks like. Alright, so as you guys can see, that has changed it. It's made it less vibrant now. This is more closer to what we would expect when we would play a vanilla based game. So as you guys can see, the clouds also look quite vanilla based as well. One thing to note is that I have turned off the clouds, because if I was to turn the clouds back on, it would look like this. But when I go into the other profiles, it doesn't quite match. So let me just show you what I mean by that. If I go to video settings, shader options, and I change it to the other profile, let's go for the default one, you will see that we do have these clouds, and then we also have the clouds in the skybox. So in my opinion, that doesn't quite match, so I actually did go into options, video settings, details, and then turn the clouds to off. when using the other profiles. I think that does look much nicer. However, if you do decide to actually go into the shader options and change it to the vanilla look, then I would recommend that you actually go back into the detail section and put the clouds to default, so then you will get that pure vanilla look there with the vanilla clouds as well, as you guys can see. So this is what it looks like with the vanilla options as well. Obviously we do have the moving grass there, and we have the moving trees as well. We've got the leaves there in the trees moving, as you guys can see. Alright, so I'm going to change the profile again. So let me just go back into the video settings and turn off the clouds. And I'm going to go back into shaders, shader options, and then change it to the cartoony profile. So let's see what this one looks like. Alright, so as you guys can see, it's switched it back into being more vibrant. I think this is similar to the Bloom resource pack, if any of you ever used that resource pack. I think this one also looks quite cool, and it would also be quite fun to play a survival world with this profile selected. I think it does have some nice colors as well and some nice tones, as you guys can see. Alright, let's go ahead and change the profile again, and let's select the next one, which is nostalgic. So let's see what this one looks like. Alright, so as you guys can see, the nostalgic profile actually tones down the colors in this, and it gives it a warmer feeling, as you guys can see, as opposed to a more greener look compared to the other profiles. So we do have that more color scheme, which is shifting towards the sepia color tone there, and we can see that we do have this neat little effect going on where we do have some marks on the screen there when the sun rays do come into our line of vision. It's almost like wearing a helmet with the visor down. So I do quite appreciate the effect which they have put into this. It does look really nice. I do like this effect. I think it's really cool. If you guys are doing any survival worlds, I think it is quite cool to actually play a farming based gameplay with this mode on. It really adds to the atmosphere as well. So I think this is another profile worth checking out as well. Let's go ahead and go back into the options and then change the profile again. The next one is called screenshot mode. So let's check this one out and see how it looks. Obviously, the name does suggest that this is based around the screenshot mode. So as you guys can see, it does actually have the depth of field enabled here, and we can see that everything else is completely blurred in the background when I focus on something. So this is more towards the actual screenshots as well. If you guys are looking to take screenshots for any of your videos or websites, then you can actually go ahead and use this. I think it does look quite cool. I do like this effect as well. Obviously, I don't think I would actually play a game with this profile. It is nice having this profile in there. I do appreciate the author giving us this profile as well, and thinking about people who do like to take screenshots. I think that looks really nice, and it's a really cool effect as well. Alright, let's go back into the video settings and change the profile again. Let's select performance now. Let's see what kind of performance we can get with this. Alright, so using the F3 key, I'll bring up the debug console. As you guys can see, I am getting close to 200 FPS there on average, 210 FPS I would say. Let's compare that to the actual default option. Let's go to the default profile and see how much FPS we do get with that. Alright, so as you guys can see, I am actually getting half of the performance-based FPS there. So any of you guys who do have lower end machines, you can actually switch up the profile to the performance-based profile, and hopefully you should be able to get more FPS out of that. So as you guys can see, I am getting 120 FPS down the top left of my screen. Now if I was to go into the shader options and change the profiles to performance, I can actually get more higher FPS. So as you guys can see, I do get 200 to 10 FPS there, which is really cool. I do like that effect. I do think they've done a nice job to optimize this and give us that option as well. And I think this is fully playable in this mode as well. So any of you guys who do have a computer that is not meant for gaming, or you do have lower frame rates in the game anyway, anything less than 30 FPS, then I would highly recommend that you try out the performance-based profile. Alright, let's go back into the video settings and change the profile again. And the next one is what I showed you earlier, which is the cinematic videos. And it does add the bars there to make nice and cool cinematic effects there. So any of you guys who do like to make cinematic build videos or anything as such can use this effect and this profile, and it does look quite cool. I do like this effect. I do like the bars on the top. It really adds some nice detail to the game as well. Again, if you guys do want to play with this mode as well, I think that's completely fine. It is quite interesting to play with that as well. Alright, let's go back into the video settings and see if we do have any other profiles. Alright, so this one is called a drawing. Let's have a look how this one looks. So as you guys can see, it's more of a vibrant based color scheme there. We haven't got any clouds there, so if you do use this profile, it would be worth just going back into the video settings and details and then turning on the default clouds if you did want the clouds. So I think this is a nice mixture between having some shaders, having some nice vibrant looks there, and then also having that vanilla feeling that we would expect from the vanilla game. And obviously we do have a nice rounded sun there, and everything does look quite vanilla-ish, but we do have the shaders as well with the moving grass and the shadows. As you guys can see on the ground there, we do have some nice shadows there. So another option there is to use the drawing profile, as you guys can see. And then obviously we do have this profile which is called scary. So let's check this one out. Alright, let me just get rid of the clouds as well. There we go. I can see that they have gotten rid of the vibrant color scheme there, and they've added more fog to the game, as you guys can see. Alright, so I have selected the midnight time, and using the scary profile, as you guys can see, everything is super dark now. And if you guys are looking to play something similar to this with a more of a scary profile, then you can go ahead and obviously use this profile. It is cool that they have implemented a profile which is focused on that scary theme in the game. I think that's a really neat idea. It's really cool. Alright, let's change the time back to day, and let's have a look at the profile again and see what the next profile is. Okay, so the next profile now is the default one. So this is what I showed you guys earlier. Alright, so as you guys can see, this is the default profile. If you are using iris shaders without the star line hook to it, then obviously you would get something like this and the default would be selected. Alright, so those are all the profiles which we can select. Another cool thing is that we can actually select the color grading as well. So if I go back into the video options, and we can now select the color preset. So as you guys can see, it says color preset default. So obviously I can change that to different presets as well. And let's select the next one, which is called legacy. Let's see what that one looks like. Alright, so as you guys can see, this is a warmer tone to the game. This is known as the legacy color preset. Obviously I have selected the video option there. The profile is set to custom, but the color preset is set to legacy. Another thing to note is that we can actually go in and fine tune all of the other options as well. So we're not fully fixed on these two settings here. You can actually go into these other options here, which I'm not actually going to go into now, but you guys can go ahead and play around with those and change them to whatever you like. So this is the legacy color profile, and I think this one also looks cool. And any of you who like that warmer tone can go for this color preset, as you guys can see over here. Alright, let's go back into the settings and change the color preset to ice, and let's have a look how that one looks. Alright, so as you guys can see, this one has a more of a cool tone to it. So the legacy one was a warmer tone, and this one looks more cooler as well. It's got more blues showing in it as well, as you guys can see. And again, this one is also totally playable. I would not mind playing a survival based game in this color preset as well. I think it's another nice way to play the game. And if you guys don't like the warmer tone settings of that other color preset for the legacy one, then you can obviously go for the ice color preset as well. And let's go back into the options and select the next one. Alright, so this one is called Milk Empire. So let's see what this one is all about. Okay, so as you guys can see, this one looks like a nice mixture between the warm and colder colors. It's almost closer to the vanilla based colors, and we do have a bit of vibrance as well coming in there. So again, this is also completely playable as well. So if you guys don't like any of the other color presets, you can go for this one. It's totally playable, and I think it's a nice, neat effect there that they've got going on in this one as well. Alright, so let's check out if they have any more color presets. Alright, so now it goes back to the default color preset, and we can obviously select the profiles and we can select the different color presets as well. And as I mentioned earlier, we can actually go into these individual settings here and play around with them to whatever we wanted. So we can actually change the fog settings, the RGB mode, stuff like that, watercolor as well, and we can change the effects as well. So I could go into the sun, I could have a round sun or a squared off sun if I wanted to do that. So I think they've done a really nice job in this shader pack. These shaders are really cool. It's one of the highest customizations I've seen in a shader pack in a long time. I do know that other powerful shaders like BSL or Silvers, they do offer some customizations, but this one does have some really nice profiles in them. And if you guys are looking to play a survival based world or any other type of game that you wanted to play, for example, you want to make a creative world or any of the build videos, then you can obviously go ahead and use the shader pack. I think it should run well on most systems. If you are running on a lower end system and you've got a lower end PC, then these shaders should run fine if you do use the performance mode in the profile. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys how to now download and install the RedHat v27 shaders for Minecraft Java Edition version 1.17.1. I'm also going to quickly show you guys how to download and install OptiFine for Minecraft Java Edition version 1.17.1, and I will also show you how to download and install Iris shaders for Minecraft Java Edition version 1.17.1, and then you should have two options. So if you guys want to use OptiFine or if you want to use Iris shaders, then you've got those options as well. As I mentioned earlier, if you do want to select the shader options using Iris shaders, then I would highly recommend you download the Starline fork for Iris shaders, and I will leave a link in the description of the video I made for that. As I mentioned earlier, it is a long video and it is quite a few steps you have to take, so I'm not going to go through that right now, but I will show you how to install OptiFine and Iris shaders for Minecraft Java Edition version 1.17.1. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is to download Java, because we are going to require Java to actually use the OptiFine and Iris shaders installers. So just go into your internet browser and start typing in Java JDK16, and then we're going to click on the oracle.com link, and I will leave a link in the description for all of the downloads that I am going to show you guys today. So let's go to this website, scroll down. I am on a Windows-based machine, so I am going to download the Windows x64 installer. And I'm going to click on this. Let's wait for the download to start and then finish, and I'll be right back. Alright, so as you guys can see, it has finished downloading the Java JDK file version 16.0.2. Let's close this down, and the next file I'm going to now download is OptiFine. So in your search bar, just type in Minecraft OptiFine, and it should come up with a search result with the website optifine.net. This is the main website for OptiFine, and if you go to the download section, you will see it does say Minecraft version 1.17.1. If you click on the drop down for preview versions, you will see that it does say it's got the latest preview release here, which is the pre-34 version of OptiFine. If you do click on the changelog over here, you will notice that it does say it's not compatible with Forge. So at the moment, officially, this is not compatible with Forge. Forge is also in beta. You can also use the OptiForge mod to use OptiFine with Forge if you wanted to use mods with shaders. I have done a OptiForge video as well, so do make sure to check out that video if you guys are planning on using OptiFine with Forge. Alright, so let's click on the preview version here. I'm going to click on the river link here, because I do find that this is a fast download. I'm going to click on download and just wait for that to finish. It's a quick download, it's not that big of a file. Let's go ahead and keep this file. Alright, let's close this down, and the next file I'm now going to download is the Iris shaders file, and this is the Iris shaders installer. So in your search bar, again, just type in Iris shaders, and the link we need to go to is this one, which is the irisshaders.net website. And if we click on download now, we can actually click on the download universal jar file, and we can actually start the download. So again, this is a quick download because this is a small file. As you guys can see, it was about 800 kilobytes there. So Iris installer has finished downloading, and the next file now I'm going to download is the RedHat v27 shader file. And in your search bar, just type in RedHat v27 shaders, and you should see a curseforge.com link. So if we go into this link here, you will see it does say RedHat 1.27.0 Chocapic13's shaders edit. So as I mentioned earlier, obviously Red Hat is a edit of Chocapic13's shaders as well. So if you guys are looking for Chocapic13 shaders, then definitely check out the Red Hat shader that I showed you just now. Alright, so once you're on this page, click on Files. As you guys can see, this is updated to the latest game version, which is 1.17.1, and you will see that it does say v27.0. Click on the download button over here. Let's wait for that download to start. Alright, so as you guys can see, it has finished downloading the Red Hat v27 Chocapic13's shader edit file. And what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to place all of these files on the desktop, and I'm going to show you how to now install all of these files. Alright, so I've placed all of the files on my desktop, and the first file we're going to install now is the Java JDK file, because as I mentioned earlier, we do need Java to actually open up these two installers for OptiFine or Iris shaders. So let's go ahead and start the installation for Java JDK version 16.0.2 by double clicking on this file. And as you guys can see, I do get a message here that says the software has already been installed on your computer. Would you like to reinstall it? I'm going to select yes. I'm going to click on next and go through all of the default options that it gives me. And let's go ahead and wait for that to finish installing. Alright, so as you guys can see, it does say Java has been successfully installed. So we can click on close and we can move this file out of the way. Now I could go ahead and start installing the OptiFine and Iris shaders file. Now one thing to bear in mind is that OptiFine is an alternative to Iris shaders, so you don't actually have to download and install both of these files. If you want to use OptiFine, then go ahead and use OptiFine. If you guys want to use Iris shaders, then go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and right click on the preview OptiFine version 1.17.1 pre-34 jar file and select open with. And because we've just now installed Java, hopefully you guys should see a link here that says Java Platform SE binary. So let's click on that link there, and it should open up the OptiFine installer as it's showing right here. And it says OptiFine HD Ultra G9 pre-34 for Minecraft 1.17.1. I'm going to click on install, and it should be a fairly quick installation. So as you guys can see, it says OptiFine is successfully installed. I'm going to close that down. We can now move this file out of the way. Now let's open up the Iris installer. Let's do the same thing. Right click on that, click on open with, select Java Platform SE binary, and let's wait for the Iris shaders installer to start up. And as you guys can see, it's loaded the Iris installer. In the addition, it can only let us select Iris and Sodium. So interestingly, Iris shaders does come with Sodium, and it also includes Fabric as well. For this drop down, you can only select Iris and Sodium. Select game version. Obviously we want the latest version of Minecraft, which is 1.17.1. Install directory, we're going to leave as the default. Now on this bit, we've got two options. If you want to install Iris shaders and use it with mods, then tick this box. So you can use it as a Fabric mod, and then you can place other mods in your mods folder and play the game with mods and shaders. For this video, I'm only going to show you how to install the shader part of the Iris installer. So I'm going to leave that unticked, and now I'm going to click on install. And again, it should be a quick installation. So as you guys can see, it now says installation succeeded. So let's close this down. We can now move this file out of the way. Okay, so the next thing we now need to do is open up the Minecraft launcher. Let's wait for this to load up. Okay, now one thing you will notice that if we go to the drop down bit here, you should see OptiFine and Iris and Sodium show up here. So it should say OptiFine version 1.17.1 and then Iris and Sodium for version 1.17.1. You can also click on the installations section here, and you will see them in the list. So you should see OptiFine 1.17.1 and Iris and Sodium Iris Fabric Loader for 1.17.1. The next thing we now need to do is actually install the shader, and if you just hover over any of these lines in the installation section, click on this folder icon over here, and now the important thing is to close down your launcher, and in the Minecraft directory you should have a folder that says shader packs. So as you guys can see, I've got one here that says shader packs. If you don't have this folder for any reason, right click on an empty space, select new, select folder, and then rename it to how it says over here, shader packs. Alright, so let's go inside the shader packs folder, and currently it is empty, and I'm now going to place the file which I just downloaded for the Red Hat v27 shaders. Alright, so I'm going to drag the zip file and place it inside the shader packs folder. So In your shader packs folder, you should have the RedHat v27 zip file. Some of you might be wondering why the RedHat v27 zip file has these funny characters, and the reason for that is that when we actually load the shader pack in Minecraft, it will actually be a different color. So when they use these special characters in the Minecraft game, it actually makes everything bold and it actually has different colors. Otherwise, it would just be the default white text. So I'll show you what I mean by that later on. So in your shader packs folder, you should have the zip file. Let's close this down. And now we can actually go back into the Minecraft launcher. And let's go into the installation section now. You can either select OptiFine or we can select Iris and Sodium. And as I mentioned earlier, guys, if you do want to play with Iris shaders, then you do need that Starline fork for Iris and Sodium. And just watch my video which I did about Starline, and I'll explain it in detail how to get the shader options available in Iris shaders. Alright, so for now, I'm just going to use OptiFine as the example. I'm going to click on play. Let's wait for the game to load up with OptiFine, and then we can finally select our shader file in the game. Alright, so as you guys can see, it's now loaded up the game. Let's maximize this window. It does say Minecraft 1.17.1 modded at the bottom left there. If I go into options, click on video settings, then at the bottom left it should say OptiFine HD G9 Pre34 Ultra, so we know we've got OptiFine installed. Another way to check we've got OptiFine is to make sure that we've got this shaders button here. If you don't have this shaders button, then it means that you haven't got OptiFine installed properly. I'm going to click on shaders, and it's already selected RedHat for me because I did actually choose that shader by before, but for some of you it might actually be set to off by default. So just go ahead and click on RedHat v27 zip file, and it should enable the shaders for you. As I mentioned earlier, those funny characters in front of the zip file were to actually make this file stand out. So if we have a long list of shaders, then this file will stand out because it has those characters in the actual file name. So we can actually go ahead and select shader options and click on settings, and we can choose the different profiles to anything we like, and then click on done. Let's go back into the game. I'm going to select single player, create new world. Let's enable cheats. Let's go for survival world, and let's click on create new world and see how the shaders look like on a brand new survival world. Alright, so it has loaded us into a brand new game, and as you guys can see, we do have that cool nostalgic profile set up here, so it does make everything look much warmer. And if I look into the sun, we've got those cool effects going on as well. Some of you might not like this, so you can actually go into the settings and change the lens flare or the glare coming in from the sun as well. So obviously do go ahead and change the profiles as well. Let me just set the game mode to creative. Let's fly around and check out the water. So as you guys can see, we have some really nice water effects there. We've got the sun's reflection coming in, and we've got the nice looking water. It almost reminds me of the Oceano shaders where we have the nice blue colored water there. Now this is how you download and install the RedHat v27 Chocapic13's shaders edit for Minecraft Java Edition on OptiFine and Iris shaders version 1.17.1. If you guys did enjoy this video, please give us a like. If you have any comments or queries about how to install the RedHat v27 shaders, or how to get Chocapic13's shader edit to work properly, or how to download and install Iris shaders for Minecraft Java Edition 1.17.1, or how to actually download and install OptiFine for Minecraft Java Edition version 1.17.1, then do leave them in the comment section below. And obviously, please do subscribe to this channel to help support, to help it grow. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.